You know, it's really true that the more money you have, the less consequences that you face. Because, man, ladies and gentlemen, we got P. Diddy in the building. And I thought this guy was going to go away forever. You know, we saw the video of Cassie getting stomped out, beat up, terrorized. But see, the thing is, a lot of people don't realize P. Diddy was not on trial for that beating that he gave Cassie. You know what I mean? And as time went by, as the trial went on, I feel like this is one of the most historic failures of the prosecution because he got acquitted of the most serious charges. The racketeering charge, the S-word trafficking charge with Cassie and some other girl. The only charges he was found guilty of was transport of a prostitute or something like that. Something that's a misdemeanor. Something that if me and you did it, you would get a weekend in jail and probably probation or some weird shit or a ticket or something. I feel like this is one of the most monumental screw-ups of a prosecution ever seen in history. I'm not going to lie to you. But anyways, we did this on the live stream a little bit ago. He has not been sentenced yet. And yes, I'm aware that the maximum charge for each one of the crimes that he is convicted for is up to 10 years. So that would give P. Diddy 20 years max in prison. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not going to happen. That man is going to get out on probation. Maybe 15-year probation, maybe 10-year probation. He's not about to serve any time. How long has he been in there? Like a couple years now? He's getting time served. And that just goes to show how crazy the world is if you just have a little bit of money. Let's go ahead and check this thing out. Basically, there's a bunch of charges that he didn't get found guilty on in the story. He got charged on 2 charges. I think it was like transportation of prostitution and, again, transportation of prostitution. Guess what, folks? Diddy's going home. Crazy, isn't it? Now, I don't know. He could get up to 20 years. It still goes up to 20 years for some of these charges. But it screams probation. It screams probation, brother. He's gonna get like 15-year probation, bro. He's gonna get like 20-year probation. Watch it, bro. He's too rich. I'm telling you. You said 2 counts. Nope. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. But listen to me. The whole story, the whole situation with Cassie, the way it kind of seemed like she was just kind of on it too, that's probably the reason why he got those charges dropped. Because the people who are telling on him also look like shit. So it's like, which one is it? Were you a victim or were you a Sodom and Gomorrah participant? Listen, man, the shit goes crazy. I probably dropped like 3 Diddy videos, but we had to talk about this because it's all over the news right now. Let's check it out. Let's see what TMZ had to say.
A monumental loss for prosecutors in the Diddy case. I wish there were a bigger word than the word losers, because that's what they are. This case.
You said you thought they must have paid the jury. I've seen that. I've been seeing that comment. I've been seeing those comments floating around the internet. I don't think so, man. Diddy is rich, but how do you really get to the jurors? You know what I mean? How do you preempt who comes? Or if you aren't able to steer what jury members go in there, how do you get to the jury that's already existing? I don't know. But maybe if he offered maybe he spent $12 million and he paid each jury member $1 million. I don't know, but it just doesn't seem very likely.
Would never have been brought if the only issues were whether he transported a sex worker across state lines to have sex.
That's it.
No way they would have done it. I mean, you look at this case, and they had 70 Homeland Security agents at Diddy's homes in Miami and L.A.
You know what you call that? The biggest waste of tax dollars in the past couple of years, bruh. But just a waste. The fuck were you guys doing? I thought we was gonna see Leonardo doing some freaky shit. I thought we were gonna see the Bieber files. Or I thought we were gonna listen. The reason this case, and then who else was Diddy dating at the time? Jennifer Lopez. Diddy's best friend is Jay-Z. I thought all this shit was finna come out. Oh, Homeland Security's in the house. This is another Epstein situation. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. And let me tell you why, folks. There's too much of Hollywood wrapped up in that, just like the Epstein situation. Now, Epstein was worse because he had politicians in that bitch. He had his celebrities, but he also had a lot of politicians, so it was a lot deeper for that. But it's the same sentiment, bro. The secrets can't get let out. So I feel like by any means necessary, but all conspiracy. But it's crazy.
And they spent a fortune putting this case together. And what did they get? A not guilty verdict on racketeering. A not guilty verdict on sex trafficking as it relates to Cassie. A not guilty verdict on sex trafficking.
And you know why they couldn't get the Cassie situation. You know why. You know why they couldn't get Cassie for the whole sex trafficking, if you're looking into it. I ain't even going to get into it because people are going to start getting mad. You know why he didn't get convicted of that charge. Shit. Bruh, listen. Shit. Anyways.
As it relates to Jane. Those were the reasons why this case
That was the whole
brought.
case. That was the whole case.
They
and then we
said
found
he
out
was a racketeer. The jury said no. They said that he was raping Cassie and coercing Cassie and Jane and forcing them into these freak-offs. The jury didn't buy it. Now, again, I wasn't in the courtroom, nor were you. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to see the witnesses, see the evidence. And the jury not only was not
That's the fucked up part. We don't even know what was displayed to everybody, bro. But the fact that the jury didn't convict on that, man, listen. Yeah, shit.
It. But now that we look at it, remember, an hour into this case, an hour into deliberations, the jury came back to the judge and said, one of the jurors, juror 25, was not following jury instructions. What really stunned me about that is that it's almost like he was the holdout and everybody else felt one way, he felt another way. And they did that within an hour. And he obviously came around, it seems. And this didn't seem a difficult decision for the jury.
The only reason I feel like the jury behaved that way was because it seemed like Cassie was kind of playing with it, and then she didn't like it later on. Now I know a lot of people don't like that answer, but we weren't in the court. But that's what that type of a response in an hour means. They were like, yeah, fuck that. She was not sex trafficked. That's what I'm getting from the jury. That's what I'm getting from the jury. It took them an hour, and only one guy wanted to convict Diddy on the sex trafficking charges with Cassie and the other girl. Allegedly, right? Because everybody else was on the other side, is what he's saying. So what that's indicating is only one person was like, nah, we should convict Diddy, because everybody else was like, nah, fuck that. It's kind of crazy. So I feel like there's just a lot more. That's why I always say Hollywood is disgusting. Everybody's fucking everybody, doing nasty, weird shit. Listen, there's probably 10 freak-offs that just went down this weekend. They're preparing for the 4th of July freak-off right now. Just Diddy's not in attendance today. So, I just feel like there's a lot we don't know. A lot unsaid. And everybody decided to turn on the diddler, the Diddy man. And rightfully so. The man's a fucking monster. But hey, I think there's just deeper layers to the story.
And this didn't seem a difficult decision for the jury. it seems like they were pretty much in agreement on the first straw vote. So did the prosecution prove its case? No.
Nope.
Yes, he was found guilty on the Mann Act, 2
Mama Bear.
counts. But again,
How
this
you
is
doing?
an antiquated law. Let me just explain the Mann Act. That if Diddy had taken somebody from the San Fernando Valley, a sex worker, and then brought them over the hill to a hotel in Beverly Hills and paid them, well, that would be solicitation of prostitution. Guess what? It wouldn't even be a felony case. The DA wouldn't take a case like that. It'd be a misdemeanor case that the city attorney might file. Generally, they don't. But if they do, it's 6 months, maximum a year in county jail, which they never give. And yet, we are now looking at a prosecution that got 2 convictions of putting a sex worker on an airplane and flying him to where Diddy was. That's what this case ended up to be. A huge, a monumental loss.
He's not gonna
for
get. He's not gonna get major jail
And
time.
I
guys.
gotta say,
He's not.
that I want to go back to
Did he get
the
sentenced yet?
news conference the U.S. attorney had, where the U.S. attorney spent time talking about baby oil. And when I heard him talking about baby oil, I'm just thinking, what does this have to do with a federal prosecution? Yes, it's salacious, but what does it have to do with 70 Homeland Security agents? Now, look, and I'm not saying Cassie wasn't abused.
This is why I didn't cover this case. I knew this case was gonna be bullshit. I knew it. I knew he was gonna somehow, like, because this is how I knew it was gonna get bad when all the Cassie information started coming out, and I was like, oh. They said they'll likely seek 4 to 5 years. Boy, he not getting no time. Fuck out of here. That shit's crazy. The biggest waste of time since the YSL trial. The biggest waste of time since the Young Thug trial, bro. I'm telling you, these prosecutors need to get the fuck together. But the thing is, I feel like they picked up... This has pink on it, so I already know the news is bullshit. But was this like a gossip? Yep, celebrity news. It's a gossip channel. No. Loud and forceful. He vociferously denied. Okay, bruh. You could have just said strongly denied the allegations. But anyway, you want to make me look bad. To stumble upon the final day of Combs' trial. Whatever. Okay, so basically he won. He won. He won his trial. He wins. Diddy's the winner. We'll see what happens in sentencing. But yeah. You said sentencing is October 3rd. Bet he will get time served. Yeah, he's out, bro. He's not 4 to 5 years? Please. Fuck out of here.
We know she was abused. We saw the Intercontinental Hotel video, but he wasn't being prosecuted for that. And to say, and I have talked about this from the beginning, to say this dude was a racketeer, he's a bad guy. And I think a criminal. He's committed a lot of crimes along the way. But
obviously. No, the man's a monster. Don't get it twisted. That guy's a fucking monster. He's on demon time 24/7. But they couldn't prove nothing. Just because you're a bad guy don't mean you committed a crime. And the fact that they couldn't prove that he committed these crimes is insane. The fact that the jury said, nah, fuck that. Nah, let's go home. No. I guess he flew a prostitute over, so yeah, I guess charge him for that. Let's go home. Y'all fucked up. Monumentally. Holy shit. I think Brian Steele was
a racket.
Was part of this situation. Anybody who's in some shit, get Brian Steele, bro. Defense for Diddy. Why can't I type today? I think Brian Steele was involved. I'm not sure. Diddy Combs winning defense. He's blah, blah, blah. I don't see Brian, so maybe he wasn't involved. Maybe that was just a rumor. No, I don't want to sign up for your fucking newsletter. I'm not about to search it. Let's just finish the video before Let's just finish the damn video before I keep
Racketeer?
moving on.
And again, I will say this one more time. A racketeer is somebody in organized crime. This was disorganized crime. This was a jealous, crazy, even criminal boyfriend who is so crazed that burglarize Kid Cudi's house or maybe blow up the car and kidnap somebody and give them a lie detector test. But there's no enterprise. It's not Bad Boy Records. That's not what Bad Boy Records was doing. It was a crazed boyfriend who was doing this. That's not organized crime. And clearly, the jury saw that. And they came back unanimously on it. So what do we end up with? We end up with a case that, if it was all within one state, would have been maximum a misdemeanor in the city attorney's office.
Wow.
Just think about that. So now the question.
Nah, bro, that's fucked. You didn't have to break it down like that, bro. That's crazy. I know prosecution is watching TMZ punch in the air. Let me see how much views this got. Probably millions. Oh, no, 21 hours ago. So it's about to get millions of views. It's at 237,000 views. Yeah, everybody saw this. Everybody and their mothers and their children gathered around and watched the TMZ video of how the prosecution literally shit the bed, talking diarrhea that bitch.
What was really behind this? Maybe the prosecutors really believed in their case.
Yeah, they did.
But
that was the fucking problem. They should have just got him on something that gave him enough time. But now they're ended up with 4 to 5 years. Yeah, we're seeking 4 to 5 years, and boy, he's getting out of jail tomorrow. Nah, I'm playing. He's getting out of jail soon, though. I'll tell you that much. The pictures, Diddy released from jail. It's coming, and he's gonna be drinking that Ciroc and dancing. That's insane, bro. All the shit we seen, all the videos, the text messages, the men he apparently put in the. You guys remember Lil Rodney? Don't matter. Shit.
I question that news conference where, they decided it's not just that we're going to file a case against him. We're going to have a whole big news conference laying out all the evidence, talking about the salacious things like baby oil and Astroglide and whatnot. And then you got to wonder, was their motivation to seek justice, or was this, at least in part, a publicity grab? And I say that
why would they do
because
that, though?
I don't get, A, why they held a news conference, and B, why they're bringing in things like baby oil. I want to say one other thing, that, the jury saw the freak-off videos, and a lot of people thought, oh, that's going to hurt Diddy. I think it's the opposite, because
they're all on drugs. So that's what, but I think the freak-offs looked like a really crazy, high-quality porn video, and everybody was like, no, like it doesn't seem like anybody in here is having a bad time. I don't think that helped. I agree. You can talking about it sounds bad, but then you're gonna go ahead and play it. I guess if you're accusing him, you have to play it, right? In my opinion, they should have just talked about it. It all sounds so demonic and crazy when they're talking about the freak-offs, but all they did was show them some hardcore porn in the fucking jury, and I don't think that really helped anything. Everybody was like, well, damn, Diddy fucks. That was pretty much the takeaway they probably took from that. So, I mean...
video doesn't get in the head.
Hold on, he might be about to say the same thing. I haven't seen this yet. Let me play it.
Why they're bringing in things like baby oil. I want to say one other thing, that, the jury saw the freak-off videos, and a lot of people thought, oh, that's going to hurt Diddy. I think it's the opposite, because that video doesn't get in the head of Cassie or Jane. They just see them having sex. And, between looking at the video, looking at those text messages saying, when are we going to have the next freak-off? I love these freak-offs.
Exactly.
It's possible for sure that there were times when they didn't, but the jury
But it just looks like a good time.
That he coerced them. They just weren't buying it, because it's complicated when they're in long relationships with Diddy. So I'm not saying they weren't abused, but the prosecution, to file a case like this, to spend this kind of money, to invest the resources they did, they got to know going in that there's a chance they can prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It seems this jury had no problem finding him not guilty on the main.
Which means are all these jury members up $1 million each? Or what? Because it's either that or the prosecution didn't have anything. Or they thought they had something and it was a big nothing sandwich.
Counts. Now, as for what's going to happen to him, whether he's going to get significant prison time, I don't know. I just don't think so. Because ultimately, do you put a guy in prison because
you can just
he
appeal
hired
that
a
down.
sex worker and flew him on an airplane? Do you put him in prison for 10 years? I don't think so. Do you put him in prison for 5 years?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Exactly. He was trying to bust a nut that night. That's all I'm hearing. He was horny and he wanted to bust a nut and committed a little crime. And again, what is that? That's what the law thinks about it too. That's a misdemeanor. So, I mean, you can have a maximum of 10 years, and he did it twice. He got caught twice, so that's 20 years max. He's not getting that, because then that sets a standard for everybody who wants to fly a prostitute down. I mean, okay, you're rich, and you flew a prostitute down, and you're a big NBA star, and you got busy, and you got caught. Do you lock up the biggest star in the NBA for 10 years? They're not going to do that, so you're setting a standard for everybody. And if they were to do that, everybody's gonna rage over it, and he's gonna appeal it down, and he's still gonna get out really soon. So, long story short, they failed, bro. Horrendously, it's insane. It's actually crazy to me. Yeah.
Now, you could say, well, we're going to put him in prison because he's just a bad guy. But that's not what the law says. The law doesn't say you can look at a guy and say, he's just a bad guy, so we're going to throw the book at him.
He's not charged with racketeering.
That's wrong. They did that with O.J. Simpson in that kidnapping case in Las Vegas. And even though I covered the O.J. Simpson murder cases, the civil and criminal, and knew he was guilty, the kidnapping case was BS. And yet, the judge threw the book at him as a pound of flesh because he was found not guilty in the murder case. That wasn't fair. That wasn't right. And you can't.
I remember that. He did get sentenced crazy. And then he ended up getting out. But it was because I don't think there could be a judge that sentences him to the max because the judge is not going to do that because we know who the judge is. Who's the judge? Subramanian or something? He's not going to do that. He's going to do it fairly. So P. Diddy's getting out of here. Is it still Subramanian or yeah? So here he is. He's known for being fair. He even reheard their he re-listened to their plea to have him go out on bail. He denied the plea, but you could tell he's open-minded, like he's gonna follow the law. P. Diddy's getting out. Crazy work, bro. Now he might throw the book at him because he's a bad guy, like what bro is saying over here at TMZ, but I don't think he's gonna do that.
Look at the guy and say, I just dislike him so much that I'm gonna do what I might not do if he were a different guy. You got to apply the law fairly. And I just don't see him getting significant prison time. I may be wrong.
He's not.
But this Mann Act is an antiquated law. It was used for racial purposes initially. And it's no different from, going after a John on Hollywood Boulevard, which is a misdemeanor case.
Going after a John
transporting
is
sex
crazy.
worker. So I just don't see significant time here. Bottom line here, the prosecution...
He was paying for pussy, that's it.
May have convicted him on the Mann Act, but they lost this case in a spectacular way.
Insane, bro. Look at Brian Steele smiling. Yo, if you're ever in some... you know how rich this motherfucker is right now? Brian Steele is on top of the world, man. Honestly, that's crazy. Shout out Brian Steele because he's getting to the bag. You can never hate somebody for getting to the bag. This guy got Young Thug off And he got Diddy off. That's insane. Like, for the rest of his life, Brian Steele is solidified forever. He never will have to look for a job again. Like, bro, cash cow. Listen to me. You might as well get, man, listen, that's crazy. How does he keep popping up? If you are ever in life-changing, life-ending shit, call up Brian Steele and have about $5 million on hand. Just dump it in his lap and tell him get to work.
Thank you all for being patient. Am I speaking loud enough? You all can hear me okay? All right. Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs.
That's insane.
It's a great victory
That's crazy.
for the jury system. You saw that
even he knows he's talking bullshit out his ass. He knows he's talking out his ass, and he's just talking it. Look at the two women back here smiling like, yay, Diddy's free. Man, disgusting. Disgusting right here. Crazy shit.
Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough. They acquitted him of the sex trafficking, which he was absolutely innocent of. They acquitted him of the racketeering conspiracy that he was absolutely innocent of, and all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that.
And they smell blood, bro. They smell blood. They smell it. They're sharks, bro. They're gonna go crazy trying to get him home immediately. They're gonna go like, this is like when you stun somebody in a boxing match. He's basically not, the enemy is basically sleeping at this point. But at this point, they want to defile the body now. They want him home tomorrow. They want a bonus. Shit. Let's get this man home today, actually. Yeah, they're going crazy. Yeah. This is going to go down. We're going to read in the history books about that one Diddy trial. And remember, kids, this is what you don't do. Like, man, that I know everybody is sick that Diddy's coming home. I'm talking the whole industry is like sick about it. I know it. I know they are. But
the arson, he was innocent of that.
He definitely burnt Kid Cudi's car. I mean, allegedly. I can't say it no more, right? Allegedly, I still think he blew Kid Cudi's car up, but you know.
Obstructing justice, he was innocent of that. And that is no longer just me.
Was he obstructing justice? Yes, allegedly I would say he was. I believe he was still yes, he was doing that. But, you know.
He's saying that is the verdict of our jury. So today's a great day. Today is a win.
But the fact that the jury all came back saying, nah, fuck that, means to me that maybe I don't know, man. Everybody said, nah, fuck that. He wasn't doing that. Are you crazy? He wasn't doing that. No. Everybody said that in 1 hour. In 1 hour. They ordered some takeout. They're eating Panda Express. And they're like, yeah, so we're freeing Diddy, right? Yeah, we're freeing Diddy. We're free. Then there's that one motherfucker in the corner like, nah, we should keep him in there. And everybody got on his ass and he flipped. They finished their meal. You know what I mean? Drank their soda and free Diddy. That's the craziest shit.
It's a victory of all victories
for Sean
Combs and
1 hour, dog.
our legal team. And I want to say one thing. There are very few people around whom a legal team could coalesce and become one. And Sean Combs is that person.
Sure.
And we are all blessed to be part of it. And
You're
am
blessed
now
to be
done speaking to you, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Garagos.
All right, I first want to thank my client.
Miss Garagos wants to vomit, but hey, Miss Garagos got paid, so fuck it. It's a bittersweet feeling, ain't it, Miss Garagos?
Sean Combs for trusting us, myself and everybody here, this incredible dream team that he put together. Without him, we would not have been able to do this. He is incredible, and I want to thank him. I want to thank the jury for putting such great care into this case. They came early every single day, and I want to thank them, as I said in my opening, standing between all of us and the drastic consequences of the criminal convictions of sex trafficking and RICO is a jury of our peers. And I thank them. I want to thank the judge, and I want to thank, despite the terrible conditions at the MDC, sufficient amount of time to prepare for trial. It is extremely difficult to prepare for a federal case in the conditions at the MDC, and they did everything they could to make that happen. I want to thank them. I also have been saying this since the beginning of this case. Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months. We've said it with each lawsuit.
Look at the lady in the corner. Look at the lady on the right side. Disgusted. She about to eat, though. She about to get that money, though. So, hey, bittersweet.
That came out, and today that was proven true. The media got it wrong about Sean Combs every single day for nearly 2 years. I ask that for every time you guys see a civil lawsuit, criminal complaints or criminal indictments, you actually take a look.
All right, sweetie.
The ladies.
I want to hear Brian talk. Brian's out here summoning the Avengers out here. The fuck is Brian? What you got going? I need to call Brian and put him on retainer in case I get into any fuck shit. Cause listen to me, I'm coming home.
Good evening. Good evening. I want to thank.
See, look at the reception even he gets. Man, solidified, brother. I'm talking solidified. He's Johnny This is Johnny Cochran came back, and it's Brian Steele. Holy shit. With a little bit of Better Call Saul mixed into it.
The ladies and gentlemen to my right and my left, there is not a better group of honest and ethical,
This motherfucker said free Diddy.
hardworking,
Oh my God.
and zealous lawyers, and I especially wish to thank Mark and Tenny for allowing me and everyone else to come together. On behalf of my family, myself, I wish to thank you all for being here and writing truthfully about a man wrongly charged with most of the crime.
Okay, he's just talking out his ass.
And that we all must remember that.
I thought he was gonna say something about the trial. Oh, that's all he said? Just nothingness.
Here. Thank you all. God bless you.
All right, appreciate you, big dog.
And battled for his freedom. Took that right. He actually battled for his freedom, for his innocence. He did it. And a lot of times, you know.
Yo, get a little taller. Get a box for her, somebody. Where's the somebody get a stool.
You know, people are too afraid to do it. And he did it, and we're so happy that he did. We're proud of him. We are completely honored that he put his faith and his
Damn, was she like 4'4"? Sheesh.
trust in us to fight for him. Today is a major win to show what the system can do. We appreciate and we're so thankful to the jury. Thank you to the court. Thank you, New York. It's been a pleasure being here.
Shit, wild work, folks. I'd like to thank Diddy's bank account. Oh, yeah, they're all, listen, all these lawyers right here, boom, 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 padded. I'm talking padded to the brim. Listen, they about to go home. They're about to buy a car for no fucking reason. Babe, I'm off to the dealership. Huh? Baby, you just got a car 6 months ago. Babe, I'm going to the dealership. Yep, they're about to go buy a car for no reason. Fuck it. And crash it.